The billionaire was seconds away from sealing a $100 million deal when a waitress leaned in and whispered, "That's the wrong formula." What happened next not only saved his empire, but changed her life forever. Ethan Cross was no ordinary man. At 45, he was a billionaire CEO whose name carried weight in every corner office and boardroom. He had built Cross Tea Industries into a global powerhouse, dominating fields from renewable energy to advanced pharmaceuticals. People admired him, feared him, envied him, but above all, they respected his precision. Ethan was never wrong, or so he thought. That Thursday evening, the Imperial Grand Hotel buzzed with anticipation. A private ballroom had been transformed into a negotiation chamber, where Ethan was about to sign the largest deal of his career, a $100 million joint venture with a European biotech firm. The numbers dazzled, the investors were eager, and the air was thick with tension. Ethan adjusted his tie as waitstaff moved silently between tables, refilling glasses and laying out the last plates of hors d'oeuvres. He was halfway through his pitch, laser-focused on the glowing presentation behind him, when a small interruption shifted everything. The interruption wore a black apron and carried a tray. Her name was Claire Summers, a waitress working double shifts to pay off her student loans. She wasn't supposed to be anywhere near this world of power and money. Her job was simple: refill, serve, smile, nothing more. Yet as she walked past Ethan's chair to top off his sparkling water, her eyes caught the formula written on the whiteboard. Her heart skipped a beat. Numbers and equations were second nature to Claire. Once, she had been a graduate student in biochemistry, dreaming of contributing to groundbreaking research. But when her father fell gravely ill, she abandoned her studies to support her struggling family. The lab became a memory. The diner, her reality. Still, the moment she glanced at Ethan's calculations, instinct screamed, "Something is wrong." Claire froze for a fraction of a second, torn between silence and courage. Around her, investors in tailored suits nodded approvingly as Ethan confidently explained the synthesis process for a drug projected to cure a rare neurological disorder. The formula was the heart of the deal, and it was wrong. She leaned closer, her voice barely audible. "That's the wrong formula, sir." Ethan stopped mid-sentence. The room went cold. Every head turned toward the waitress who had dared to interrupt a billionaire in the middle of a $100 million pitch. Ethan's sharp gray eyes narrowed. He glanced at her, then back at the whiteboard. "Excuse me?" His voice carried the weight of a man unaccustomed to being questioned. Claire swallowed hard, realizing the enormity of what she had just done. "The sequence, you transposed two variables. It won't stabilize. The compound will collapse before replication." A nervous chuckle rippled through the table. One investor sneered. "Are we taking scientific advice from the catering staff now?" The Europeans exchanged puzzled looks. One leaned in and whispered in broken English, "Is this true?" Ethan's pride burned. He wanted to dismiss her instantly, to protect his ego. But something in Claire's eyes, steady, certain, unshaken, gave him pause. Against his instincts, he reran the calculation in his head. And then his stomach dropped. She was right. The error was small, a single misplaced variable, but in biochemistry it was catastrophic. If the deal had gone forward as written, the research would have imploded within weeks, costing him not only the contract but also his reputation. The room fell silent as Ethan set down his marker. For the first time in his career, he looked vulnerable. He turned to Claire. "How do you know this?" Whispers rippled across the table. Claire straightened, tray still balanced in her hand. "I was a grad student in biochemistry. I recognize the sequence. It won't hold." The investors exchanged stunned glances. Ethan said nothing. Then, with a slight smile that even surprised him, he turned back to the Europeans. "Ladies and gentlemen, it seems we've been saved from disaster by someone far sharper than the rest of us combined." Laughter eased the tension, but respect hung heavy in the air. Ethan corrected the formula on the board, this time with Claire watching. Everything aligned perfectly. Relief spread across the Europeans' faces. They applauded lightly, reassured. The deal was saved, not by Ethan's brilliance, but by the waitress who dared to whisper the truth. After the signing, once hands were shaken and champagne glasses raised, Ethan approached Claire in the corner of the ballroom. She looked ready to be fired. Instead, he extended his hand. "You saved me tonight. What's your name?" "Claire Summers," she whispered. "Claire," Ethan repeated, his voice warmer than she expected. "I don't know what life pulled you away from, but brilliance like yours doesn't belong in the shadows. How would you like to join Krusty? Not as a waitress," he paused, smiling, "but as part of our research team." Her eyes widened, tears brimming. "Are you serious?" "Deadly serious," Ethan replied. "No one who can outsmart me in front of a $100 million deal should be serving trays." And in that moment, Claire's life changed forever. The girl who once gave up her dream now had it handed back to her, all because she had dared to whisper 7 words no one else would.